few years with some of the most impactful albums in this decade being a part of the rage genre with
Wait, hold on. Let's see what's up here. Let's see what's up here. Let's see what's up here.
popularity these past few years with some of the most impactful albums in this
Too
subgenres in
fast.
hip-hop gaining
Pause.
tremendous popularity these past few years.
Wait,
Rage music is one of the biggest subgenres in
is this a subgenre? I feel like this is a subgenre of this, to be honest. But this is a subgenre in itself, though, to be
gaining
fair.
tremendous popularity these
So we got flex music. Is flex music? Yeah, I'd say flex music is impactful. It's definitely impactful.
albums in this
Wait, yeah, I'd say so. Um, is Up to Me impactful? I don't know if Up to Me is impactful, bro. I feel like it's one of those because I don't even think it was Yeat's first Rage album that went crazy. So I don't think it's that impactful. It was just another one like Up to Me. What was the one before that? And then there was Two Alive. Like that little run in like 23, 22. The first one would be impactful. I don't know about the shit after that, to be honest.
in this
And even then, I don't even think like was niggas copying Yeet. They were copying Yeet. They were copying Yeet. I'm saying. But yeah, it can't be Two Alive and 4L that are uh both influential. And then I don't know if niggas copy Say So Says. I'm trying to think. There's only two niggas I know that copy Say So Says, and that's Raining LOL and Glow. But even then, it's because if Che would have kept doing that, what he did on Say So Says, niggas might have copied him, but he kind of moved off way too quickly. So I don't know. But
this decade
I guess Project X, yes, impactful.
being
Yeah, too. Psychotic. We'll see.
part of the
I don't know about this one.
rage
Yeah, this the GOAT. This is the GOAT Rage album, nigga. It's better. It's better than a whole lot of red. It's better than a whole
era
lot of red.
with
Like on pure listen, AGC is so much better than a whole lot of red. Like whole lot of red has at least 10 misses, bro. It has at least 10 skips. But AGC has none or close to none. I would say none, to be honest. And he's just a better rapper than Cardi. Like Ken Carson is just a way better rapper than Cardi. Like way better. He just sounds better. He just doesn't have the vocal inflections that Cardi has, but the beat selection is probably the same or better, to be honest. To me
artists like
personally.
Cardi,
Niggas are gonna cook me for that, but
Rosie,
it's cool though.
Blur, and Trippie Redd being major pioneers of this genre, later influencing some of the biggest artists of this new generation like Yeat, Osama Sun, Ken Carson, Che, and more. And throughout the years, it has evolved like crazy, changing year by year. But in this video, let's take a look at the evolution of the Rage genre, some of the biggest Rage albums to drop year by year, and the future of Rage. Taking it back to over a decade ago in 2015, in the early stages of the Rage genre. Now, a lot of people have different opinions on who started the Rage genre, and before all the Future fans jump me, I gotta mention that I Serve the Bass was a very early prototype of the Rage genre. I mean, a lot of people, like, just called this song trap mixed with EDM and rave. Yeah, man, this song was pre-Rage. It was basically like, just trap, but I had to mention it. Obviously, in the SoundCloud era around 2016, this era was booming with the prominent genre for newer artists being trap, with one of those artists in those eras being Uzi. Now, when Uzi was working with Molly Raw in 2016, many would again argue that Uzi would be Uzi. Now, when
Smalley
Uzi
Rock.
was working with Molly Raw in
He looked like Nick at Night. He got the he got the Hasbro jaw.
2016, many would again argue that Uzi would be the first to do the Rage sound with songs like Do What I Want and Money Longer. But again, this is obviously very, very early Rage. Even in 2017 to 18 with Cardi's run dropping self-titled, people argue that Woke Up Like This is a Rage song. R.I.P. is also a song that I do want to mention, which many fans say is the first Rage song. But again, Rage
I don't think is that Rage? I mean, you could count it. I don't think that's Rage. I think Woke Up Like This is Rage. Uh, the Uzi shit was
would be
Rage.
in its very early stages, being mostly trap at the time. But the year that we would hear the first initial Rage songs would easily be 2020. Now, in 2020, we would see a wave of a lot of underground artists. It was just overall the year that the Rage sound would officially be birthed. Now, before the Rage sound,
Or no, when did Mr. Rage drop? Because that was when it was. I don't know if that was 2020 though. Was it Miss the Rage? I'm tweaking. When was that? That was 2021. Okay, never mind. It was probably before that then. 2020.
Would go mainstream, there were already underground artists using rage beats, like for example for Sofig with Off the Map, which is probably one of the best rage songs of all time. And we also see Ken Carson use it as well for his song Yale. So yeah, man, it was definitely ahead of its time in 2020, as some of the underground rappers at the time were already using it, and even some mainstream rappers like for example Trippie Redd would also hop on it early before dropping Trip at Night that next year with songs like Star Power and Hello Kitty, which many people say is the first ever rage song. After Ken, Fago, and Trippie were kind of using it mid to late 2020, at the end of 2020, the first ever rage album would emerge, that of course being Whole Lotta Red. Now, Whole Lotta Red would be the first ever rage album and would basically birth a generation of artists who would use rage and evolve it even further.
No, this shit had a music video.
And yeah, this album would of course be Cardi's most experimental album yet, using hella rage beats that are mostly produced by Filthy and Art Dealer, who would also be big pioneers to the rage genre as well. And as soon as the album did drop, bro, as many of you guys may know, this album did get shat on because of how unorthodox it was from Cardi's past albums, with the distortion and Cardi's erratic vocals just being too much for the average ear to, you know, handle. And of course, just being the perfect mosh pit concert album, which is a huge part of rage music. And of course, when Whole Lotta Red dropped, world was on lockdown. So yeah, man, there were obviously no shows happening at the time. Back then, seeing the distortion on Whole Lotta Red, it was so much more tame than a lot of the rage that we hear nowadays, bro. But yeah, man, Cardi is still a big influencer for the rage genre. But before Cardi would drop Whole Lotta Red, Trippie Redd would preview a snippet which would change the genre forever and giving the genre a official name, that being rage, after Trippie did preview the song called Mr. Rage, which this video of Trippie previewing it is forever iconic looking back on it. And as soon as Trippie did preview Mr. Rage, it would instantly go viral, with fans creating fan-made versions of the song with Cardi on it, with even Mario Judah hopping on as well. Which, yo, Mario Judah is also an artist I do want to mention who was hopping on these rage beats early as well. Obviously, at the time, he was seen as a meme artist recreating Whole Lotta Red. But yeah, man, this was overall a very fun time period in general, with like Whole Lotta Red dropping and Mario Judah going viral, as well as Trippie proving one of the biggest hits that he was gonna drop that next year in 2021. And now in 2021, we'd see this genre grow even bigger.
Wait, this nigga has Pink Tape in the background?
I don't know, with like Whole Lotta Red dropping and Mario Judah going viral, as well as Trippie proving one of the biggest hits that he was gonna drop that next year.
Why would you have Pink Tape on your wall of all albums, nigga? Pink Tape, for real?
In 2021. And now in 2021,
that's the one?
We'd see this genre grow even bigger. Whole Lotta Red was starting to grow on fans, with the world opening back up. Cardi can finally do shows, that being most notably Lollapalooza 2021, as well as Trippie Redd rolling out Trip at Night, making a whole album behind the rage sound because of how viral Mr. Rage already was before it even dropped. When Mr. Rage dropped, bro, with Cardi, it would instantly go viral, with both artists at the time being the biggest rage pioneers, and it would not only boost Trippie's career, giving him another hit, but it would also lead to the rage genre gaining more popularity, leading to more people tapping into Whole Lotta Red, because obviously Mr. Rage did drop a couple of months after Whole Lotta Red, and it definitely played a big part into the genre growing more and more, and Whole Lotta Red getting more and more love that it would deserve. And in early to mid 2021, we'd begin to see many underground artists start to use rage beats, primarily from Cardi's label Opium, with Ken Carson being seen as the Opium prodigy. Ken was obviously using rage beats the year before with Yale, but he dropped Project X in that summer, with this being the perfect debut album for him. And the producers on Project X, for example, like Starboy and Out of Town, are also producers that I do want to mention, having major impacts to the rage genre, gaining even more popularity.
I feel like he stopped working with the niggas. Actually, no, I think Starboy was on
the best beat selection and just beats that I've ever
Starboy was on AGC, I think. I don't know if he still works
It's
with
like,
Out of
bro, the
Time.
beats that Ken did use on Project X, bro, a lot of the synths were so much more smoother than the beats that Ken uses nowadays, bro. And the beats on Project X almost had a pop trap sound to it, but at the same time, it had that bass to it, which obviously made it a Rage song. With the Rage sound growing because of Mr. Rage, not only would Ken get bigger with Project X, we'd also see Yeat start to gain popularity in 2021, and Cardi's Whole Lotta Red influence would be so evident that a lot of Yeat's biggest songs in this year or like in this era were from Whole Lotta Red type beats. Like, for example, Sorry About That, Get Busy, all from Whole Lotta Red Cardi beats. And it's clear that Yeat was a fan of Cardi, as he also was remixing Cardi songs as well.
This is hold on. This is not actually no. It was a Yeet remix. It was Yeet and Auto. That shit was so fire. This song
Cardi,
right
as he
here.
also was remixing Cardi songs as well.
What good is on when I was game from Elliot? This nigga was a chud.
Yeat's run in 2021 was insane, as well as a lot of the
Again,
beat
this
selection on
is
like
elegant.
Orel, produced
Shout
by
out to
Tragic. And
you
yeah,
know,
one thing that I do want to say, which
feel like the president, how I'm coming out of stepping shit. I'm praying to my money. It's just, I can't stop spending money on some shit.
was a common trend in this year,
You can't stop all that cabin Instagram shit.
was that the beats that these rappers were rapping on
We're just talking about when I get time benefits. Boom.
were very, very different, being like very synth heavy, almost like alien beats. I want to say like a lot of the beats sounded like you
What students at?
were
Damn,
inside
nigga.
of a UFO or something, bro. But aside from Yeat and Ken pushing the sound even
Yeah,
further,
my
and we
bad.
would see so many
That's what I'm
other
saying,
unknown
you
rappers
put
blow
up
up off
whatever,
of rage
I
beats,
just
like
did
for
you.
example SG Kobe with MIA. Vega was already using rage
I never listened to Kobe, bro. And I'm not trying to like grandstand or whatever. I genuinely never like listened to him. I think I tried to listen to one song, I just didn't get it for real. And then the shit happened, so it was like it was like, damn, okay. But Fago, I understood him immediately. I just never got Fago. I mean, I never got Kobe. I didn't get it. Like he just sounded like nothing about his sound was interesting to me.
beats before, but Altanap was just getting bigger and bigger.
Which is crazy because him and Fago were supposed to be the next ones. Like I think I remember niggas saying that Kobe was gonna be bigger than Fago.
Kana with Antisocial, Can with Ain't
And then he just wasn't.
Heaven, or just
I
that
think it was Knock Knock that did it for Fago though. Like Kobe never had no shit that went like Knock Knock. And to be fair, like nobody could. And Off the Map was also so crazy. But Knock Knock was like everywhere. This shit was everywhere, nigga.
Oxy and Coding EP in general, Ken with Rock and Roll and just Project X, Yeat with Sorry About That, and Orel, and also Pooch Ice with Tell 'Em, which went fucking cute. And a personal favorite of mine that did drop that year, that being K-Swab's Sexually Active featuring Trippie Redd. But yeah, man, the summer of 2021, we would see this genre reach new heights, and it was actually so refreshing seeing a new sound that so many new artists were gravitating towards. And this is also a reason why everyone misses that 2021 underground, right? But that same summer, we would see Trip at Night drop by Trippie Redd, and with Trippie already being mainstream and basically starting the genre with Mr. Rage, pushing it to new heights, he would do it even further, dropping an entire Rage album and incorporating other mainstream artists on Rage beats. Like, for example, having Drake on a Rage beat with the song Betrayal. And with Mr. Rage already
Drake was on that? I didn't even know Drake was on that. That was during CLB too? Didn't know. I was not listening to Trippie back then.
being a hit, him taking
Only song I heard from Trippie between now and like when I stopped listening to him in 18, 19 was Pull Up in That Mercy. Was this shit with Lil Tecca? I forgot what it's called, bro. Damn. How I Was Raised. That's what it was. Facts.
advantage of the popularity of Rage at the time, and dropping an entire Rage album was definitely needed, and he indeed delivered. And I wish I could hear this album again, man, because it honestly was a breaking classic. But with Trippie pushing Rage more into the mainstream, we would see other underground rappers who were on Rage enter the mainstream as well. That being Yeat, that followed dropping his album Up to Me, which fans still think is Yeat's best album. And yeah, Yeat would have his own spin on the Rage beats, like, you know, for example, incorporating bells.
This shit was so stupid, bro. The Bell shit was so stupid. And then he came back and did that shit again like last year. And niggas really went for that shit. It's so crazy. Or was it last year or 20? Nah, I think, yeah, it was last year. It was last year. The Bell shit was so crazy.
So yeah, it was so cool to see other artists experimenting more with the sound, which I think he definitely did a great job. But yeah, overall in 2021, as I did mention before, a lot of the rage beats did have a similar theme, having similar synths, similar 808s and beat patterns, and a lot of these same artists having the same go-to producers for this rage sound. Yeah, man, Yeet definitely popularized rage beats, having a more dark style with Up to Me. But those rage beats that Trippy was
Okay,
using on
I'm
Trick at
back.
Night, those space, synth, EDM, hyperpop inspired beats were beginning to fade as they were evolving even further, and those initial rage beats were beginning to get a bit
You hate M
repetitive and
Chin?
even
What's wrong with M Chin? What's wrong with M Chin? For this 1.5. Right.
though it was fairly new, that next year in 2022, there were already talks that the genre wouldn't last,
His
which would
shit,
lead to in
his
2022
videos are so long. You have brain rot, bro. You literally
Trippy
just have
not
brain rot.
returning to the rage sound. Of course, Cardi went mysterious after dropping Whole Lotta Red, not dropping anything, and being nowhere to be seen in 2022. So it was up to the new guys, the underground artists, to push the rage sound. And with Cardi being nowhere to be seen in 2022, this would be the year that his label would gain more and more popularity, with Ken and Lone dropping some of their best work this
How?
year. But first thing first, that
Because
being
if you can't watch a 20, if you hate 26-minute vids, like what does that say about your brain, my nigga?
Ken Carson's album X, taking
I
a
got my
massive shift
twist
from Project
redone
X, taking a
finally.
more darker
How long did it take you to get them redone? When was the last time you
tone,
got
and a
them
lot of the
redone?
beats that he was rapping on sounding darker and more grungier, and just having more bass than Project X.
I don't need
Even with
nobody.
Yeet as well, we would see the
For
same thing
this
with his
shit, I
album
don't
Too
need
Live, which the
nobody.
production on this album was mad,
I
bro. Like I
don't need
remember my
yo.
first
I
time
don't
hearing
need
Too Live, it
me.
was actually
I don't
amazing,
need
and Yeet
yo. I
would of
don't
course
need
go
me.
mainstream at the time of Too
I
Live,
just
and he
need
would
my
of course
dog. It's
evolve
just
the
me
rage
and
sound even
me.
further
Yeah.
on this album with
I
songs
don't
like
need
Never
my
Again, for
dog. It's
example.
just me and me. Yeah. Look it. I don't want to smoke. I don't need no weed. You should get high drugs. I get high off other things. I get high when I make a $500,000 in a week. Like 5 or 6 weeks. Damn, nigga. It is crazy. Stop the singing, nigga. Fuck you. Uh, what was I finna say? What's the best year of the underground? Okay, no. What's the best year of the mainstream underground? So like 2021 was probably Yeet and Fago, or no, Fago and Kobe, and then 23 was like what Yeet and Ken Carson, and now it's Che and Osama. You think 2021 was the best? I think 23 was the best. Actually, no, 23 they weren't made. Like 22 would be Yeet and Ken Carson. 23 was like Xavier so based in that spin. Bro, this shit was trash. Oh my gosh.
Even Yeat's album Life at the end of that year too would be a lot darker from like basically any of his past projects, and just the overall image of rage music would become less colorful, which can be proven especially with Opium with their
No, it was bro. Xavier nigga Xavier so based in that spin was not great, bro.
aesthetic in 2022 being that all black mysterious aesthetic. And speaking of Opium, I have to mention Lone's No Styles. Now I feel like Lone isn't seen as
You
a
said
rage artist, but
mainstream
a lot of the
underground? When did Net and Xavier go mainstream? Was that 24? You think that's 24? Because 24 would be trash then. But I guess Ken Carson and Yeet would be 23. Yeah, okay. So yeah, 23, then 21, then 25, then 24. I don't even know who was in 22. No. Yeah. No. I'd say 23, then 25, then 21, then 24. There's KO album. There's no album near AGC in 21. That's what I'm saying. 21 UG's at the prime?
production on No Styles is mad, and I just had to like
Not
mention it. And
really.
he experimented
I'd say right now is probably better than 21. I think niggas just got nostalgia for 21, to
with
be
the
honest.
rage sound the best out of
Like outside of the Cardi shit and all of the Cardi inspired shit, which was most of it, there wasn't really none there. Like niggas was niggas was listening to Cash Dami. White hoe reparations been 5 minutes out of the nation. Why was my shit bad in the Slayer shit? My shit was bad? We can't hear none? Oh, it's cause his shit was loud and I was talking through it, so you can't hear me over the audio, my nigga. Cause my shit wasn't loud enough. That's all it was. And I was trying to talk through it. Pause. And you turned it up. Yeah, turn. Is it turned up or not? So was Tana. Dami was hard. He had one song. Tana. Tana was cool, I guess. I don't know.
any
Channel
underground
was
rappers at
cool.
that point, incorporating different samples from Crystal Castles, and bro, just this entire album, No Stylist, was just impressive. Homicide Gang as well, taking Rage to a whole new level with Homicide Lifestyle. But yeah, man, in 2022 we would see a shift into Rage being pioneered by a lot of the newer artists, that being primarily Ken Lone and Yeat, and we like also see like other artists like Lancey gain immense popularity, which I feel like Lancey never gets credit, but like yo, he is one of the
Homicide
first
Gang
UK
barely
artists to hop
Rage.
on Rage.
Now
Very,
they
very cool to see.
definitely rap on Rage beats. What's that one song they got? They rap on Rage beats, but they just do it in like a Glock 40 spaz way.
But in 2022, Rage wasn't as big as 2021 in terms of hits, but there were still a lot of solid Rage songs and albums, like of course 2 Live X, No
He's
Stylist,
bad, but
Lancey's
he's
album.
influential. Nice one. I don't know if he's influential. He really like Lancey. He has some songs where I'm like, oh shit, this nigga is fire. And then I listen to an album and then I'm like, no, this nigga is trash. I don't want to listen to this nigga, genuinely. But he just has some songs.
Life in
He
Hell.
made the whole UK scene. I don't know without him, all of the UK, most of the UK underground raps on jerk beats, nigga. I don't think that's Lancey. Lancey was not rapping on jerk beats. Like YT and all them niggas came up on jerk beats. Name someone before him or bigger than him. I'm not saying like, okay, yeah, he's the first UK underground rapper, but like, I mean, the rage side. Who does rage in the UK? I only hear jerk beats, nigga. I don't know anyone in the UK underground that makes jerk beats. YT coming to rage? Yeah, but YT got popular off jerk shit, which would be Xavier.
We also have other underground artists like Hard Rock experiment with Rage with his song Feel Alive. And we'd have other artists
I don't know that big of a UG in the. I don't know that much of the UG in the UK, so I don't know. Hard
like
Rock
Rock
is
Pretty
good.
Spaz, who I also want to mention, blending the ATL trap sound with Rage. There were just a lot of new artists this year, which was great to see. And now in
That's on my
2023,
gang.
we
I'ma
would see
be right
another
back.
major shift to the genre, as at the start of the year, we would have one mainstream artist using the Rage sound, that being NBA Youngboy with I Rest My Case with his song Black.
Ooh, I remember this one too. Yeah. I remember this
Here,
one.
we
I was
would
a
have
junior
one
in high
mainstream
school.
artist using the Rage sound, that being NBA Youngboy with I Rest My Case
This shit was crazy.
with his song Black. That shit was fucking crazy. Now, NBA Youngboy was using the Rage sound the year before with that one song hit with DaBaby, but I thought it was pretty cool to see a big mainstream artist hop on this Rage sound. And of course, YB and Cardi would
Yeah,
later
I was
lock
a
in. So yeah,
huge YB fan.
this was pretty cool.
Like from 20, when did Colors drop? Ever since from when Colors dropped to like probably 23 or 24, I was a huge YB fan.
And also, YB would lock in with Yeat that same year. So yeah, man. And speaking of Yeat, Yeat would start off the year with his album Afterlife, again having very dark elements to the project, and also this project being more mysterious and slower than his past albums like 2 Live, 4L, and Up to Me. Like for example, songs like None I Changed. And also, this year would be the year that we'd see.
I did not Afterlife. I did not like those two albums. I thought those shits were trash. A lot of people liked them. I thought they were trash. Those were two
Pioneers
stories.
like Uzi tap back into Rage
If
with
YB
Uzi
locked in, he could be
dropping his
amazing.
album Pink Tape with some songs on Pink Tape like Suicide Doors. And in my opinion, Uzi does Rage probably the best because Pink Tape is probably my favorite Uzi project, even though like Pink Tape was very
Only good song on Pink Tape is X2. Facts.
experimental and to get very mixed opinions. Uzi's energy was mad, and that same summer in 2023, we would see
Those were
Star
his
and the
best.
Birds.
No, everything pre-life is Yeat's best. Like Up to Me, uh, Two Alive, shit like that. That shit is fire. But all that other shit after, I'm not fucking with it. I didn't listen to Dangerous Summer or whatever that shit was called.
Of new underground Rage artists. Like first, Osama Sun, who would blow up out of nowhere with Osama Season. Now, bro, this album
Both
would
of
be
those
a
are
great
much
debut
worse.
album
You're
with
a
obviously
troll.
Osama working with OK, who would be the future of the Rage sound, as well as other producers like ROK and Perk 40, whose beats were so much more distorted and grungier. Like for example, on songs like X and Sex and Kutta. And when Osama would drop Osama Season, he would get the Ken Carson comparisons, like we call the Ken Carson clone. But Osama would stick to his sound and only get better and better, which would lead to fans changing their opinions as the years would
Where's
come. And
Slime at? Where Livy at? Now on your ass.
this year we also see more Rage.
You know what's crazy about that song? Damn. I feel like I always heard it somewhere. Like I always heard the lyrics, but I never knew where it was from.
Songs go mainstream, like of course
I don't know
Fiend
where I
with
was
Tyler
hearing the
dropping
lyrics.
Utopia. and also Travis bringing Cardi onto Fiend, which is like the best decision ever because they literally made a mosh pit anthem and it would become an instant hit with Travis's popularity and Cardi making the biggest comeback after years appearing on Fiend, which would be a huge moment for rap. Yeah, man. In terms of the actual evolution of
Did Jason rap on Rage shit? Sometimes, but that wasn't like his main shit. A Dangerous Summer is bad. Yeah, okay.
the sound, that same fall,
A lot of people liked it though.
we probably get the most iconic Rage album, that being Ken Carson's A Great Chaos. Now, yo, Ken Carson's
The
previous
greatest Rage album of all time. It is not even close. That shit touching it, nigga. On my life and soul, there's nothing close to that
albums
shit.
were obviously
I'm gonna
known
keep it a
as being
buck.
more trap and melodic, especially with Project X. But yo, A Great Chaos was a complete flip. Now, yo, right off the bat from the aesthetic, Ken was already pushing a more darker, grungier aesthetic, as well as the music that he was previewing.
It's up there. It's easily the best mainstream one. That's what I'm saying.
Because it was like, bro, I've never heard this sound from Ken ever. And a lot of the songs on this album were carrying so much bass and distortion, and the album literally sounded like one massive horror movie. Especially hearing some of the beat selections on this album, like Me and My Cup and Lose It.
It's me, my copy. Bro, that whole shit was on my playlist. The whole shit, top to bottom. Niggas, I was playing this shit all day, back to back to back to back to back. Nigga, you know what's crazy too? Cause I went to a high school all Mexicans, right? So I was really the only one listening to Ken Carson, like since Project X, in X especially. So niggas used to clown me for listening to Ken Carson, and then when that nigga got to AGC, then niggas wanted to start hopping on the wave. Shit crazy, bro.
The
Shit
production was
crazy.
mad with Starboy, Out of Town, and Gabe crafting the most insane beats that Ken would rap on this project. This album would definitely show the evolution of
The
the
song
Rage
with Uzi didn't save. The song with Uzi was solid.
sound, of course, being more darker,
The
more
song with
distorted,
Uzi was
faster drum
solid.
patterns, and with the sound evolving, it would lead to the sound still being alive and
It's a
around with the
vibe,
Great
bro.
Chaos, instantly catching mainstream attention and putting Ken into the big leagues. And another album that I do want to mention being huge for the Rage genre is Flex Music. Now, yo, prior to Flex Music, Osama was seen as a Ken clone, and the fans would be shocked after Flex Music did drop, and basically everyone would retract their statements of Osama being a Ken clone. Obviously, A Great Chaos did change the Rage sound in terms of adding distortion, but yo, the production on Flex Music would be the cherry on top, with songs on Flex Music like Baghdad, Port of Flex, and Trenches. Bro, his song Trenches, as well as Ken's song
Trenches
Lose It,
is
was basically like
crazy.
70% bass.
Trenches is crazy.
And yeah, man, distortion would be something
Trenches
that
is
we
way better than Lose It. I'm gonna keep it a buck. Lone doesn't do good on it either. Nah, on Paranoid he was solid. Hold on. What did he say on Paranoid? Okay, no, on Singapore he was good. He was good on
would
Singapore.
see for the years to come. But yeah, man, in 2023, it would
You
be a
think
great
Lose
year
It is
for
better?
Rage. This
Nah,
year,
bro.
we had mainstream artists like YB, Uzi, and
Trenches
Travis
is
use the
harder,
sound.
bro.
And of course, Ken Carson's A Great Chaos being a huge impact to the sound, and Osama paving his own lane for Flex Music and so many more underground artists who would later take over. And now in 2024, it would be a pretty quiet year for a lot of the main Rage artists, but we would see a
Like
primarily
Singapore is
underground
on
artist
the line.
take over. And one thing that I would find interesting in this year is some Rage artists incorporating EDM pop into their music, like for example, Two Hollis, who would blow up this year.
I think Two Hollis from Israel, bro.
This is what caught my eye this year, and it was cool to see Rage branching out into a different lane, incorporating more electronic music, which fans of Ken Carson and Osama
Two Hollis is a Moose Side agent, bro.
would start to
Come
fuck
on,
with Two
bro.
Hollis because of how similar the energy was with both of their music. And one thing that I do want to mention about Rage music is how it's the best music for concerts. And this year was the year that Two Hollis did open up for Ken's Chaos Tour, and his shows went fucking crazy. So yeah, man, this was very, very cool to see. And we also see Shay drop 606, which again did use a lot of
Say So Says is the only good one. I'm confused, bro. Two Hollis is a plant, my nigga.
electronic hyperpop elements, like on this song, It's My Party and I'll Die If I Want to.
That's the song you're picking?
And yeah, man, this album brought back the fun into Rage music being colorful again. It's like, bro, this album sounded like one big party, bro. A lot of people called this album like, ear cancer or like just noise. Hey, honestly, bro, this album had everything that you would want from a Rage album, having super creative beats, and it's just something that we've never heard from an artist before, which did make me a fan of Che. We'd also see artists like Pretty Fun as well drop his album Funhouse the same time period.
Damn, this is how this nigga look?
Being colorful again. It's like, bro, this album had everything that you would want from a Rage album, having super creative beats, and it's just something that we've never heard from an artist before, which did make me a fan of Che. We'd also see artists like Pretty Fun
Salute.
as well drop his album Funhouse the same time period as Say So Says. Again, was a very, very bright and energetic album, which
This is barely Rage.
brought me back to 2021 because of how bright and
It's Rage. I just think that shit is trash.
energetic the sound was evolving to, bro. And it was a lot
Like, that's probably the worst song on the
less
album.
dark and intense from the Rage albums that we would hear the year prior, like A Great Chaos. But in 2024, we would see the genre take a more electronic inspired route.
You think this year's better than 25 is better than 22? Say So is barely Rage. Say So, nah, Say So's Rage. Cause it's like It's closer to Ken Carson on Project X.
with the genre being carried by mostly underground artists this year with notable albums this year. I mean, like obviously the Great Chaos Deluxe from Ken, of course Flextra by Osama Sun, and Osama was just getting bigger and bigger. And we also have Yeet, who would change his sound for his album 2093, being a more futuristic sound. We'd have other underground artists like Molly Santana and Rich Amiri take over, and we'd also see the introduction to Netspend as he would go crazy in 2024 with Badass Fucking Kid, which was a pretty good album, as well as his song
It's Electroclash and Digicore. Is that's the same as Project X.
Nothing Like You. Pretty good album, Rich Amiri take over, and we'd also see the introduction to Netspend as he would go crazy in 2024 with Badass Fucking Kid, which was a pretty good album, as well as his song Nothing Like You. But this year was an overall solid year for Rage, as a lot of the up-and-coming artists were using it heavily. And now in 2025, we would see another shift in the genre, this time being by both underground and mainstream artists. Now, we actually would start off the year with Osama Sun's Jump Out, which, yo, I have to mention this album, bro, because this entire album sounds like drugs in a good way. We'd start to see Rage music in general have very, very loud 808s and drums, which would be so prominent on Jump Out, with OK producing a lot of the album pretty much. And yeah, if you were to show this album to anyone over the age of 30, bro, they would probably disintegrate, bro. Like, this album was very, very unorthodox.
Oh, this is what that song is from. I never listened to this shit.
And we'd also see
Or I did listen to it. I guess I wasn't paying
the
attention.
Rage Pioneers finally dropped, aka Cardi, who, although Cardi ended not drop a Rage album, it was a trap album, a 30-song trap album music, and there were some Rage songs on this project, like, for example, Olympian, Cocaine Nose, and of course Pop Out, which isn't exactly Rage, it's like more industrial hip-hop, but it does have that same energy as the Rage songs being from that cave era of Cardi, where bro was just experimenting like crazy. But yeah, man, I do indeed wish that this album had more Rage songs.
I only know about Mason Plans because of the person that covered
I
it.
think Cardi thrives on those songs rather than songs like Billy or Munyon. But yeah, man, of course, music, I would not get the best perceptions in comparison to Whole Lotta Red, but it would sell 300K. So yeah, man, can't hate. But Ken would return dropping his own Rage album, that being More Chaos. And the name of the album would speak for itself, as it was indeed More Chaos. And yeah, man, this album was loud. Definitely Ken did evolve the chaos sound, as a lot of these songs on this album sounded fucking crazy. Like, but fans will think this album is very, very repetitive, as the entire album was just straight up all chaos songs. And obviously isn't as impactful or as good as A Great Chaos, but it definitely shows how much Rage has developed since Ken was first using it on Project X, which this album made fans seriously miss the older Project X days. But yeah, man,
Only play lightly. I don't know. He's just playing the worst songs on albums.
this album
I
was
guess.
definitely pushing Rage to its limits, the distortion being on a whole different level. And yeah, man, just the music being so fucking loud would be a trend of things that we would see later this year. For example, that same year, last year, we would see Che drop Rest in Bass, which again, the name would speak for itself. Now, right off the bat, as soon as this album dropped, fans were comparing it to Whole Lotta Red, and it would literally sound like Whole Lotta Red, but on steroids, especially that song On Fleek, bro. Goddamn. But yeah, man,
On Fleek isn't bad though. On Fleek got too much flack. On Fleek is not
one thing that
bad.
I do love about this album is Che's energy. Che's energy on this project made it so iconic for Che fans. It, again, was not for old heads, bro. Even Whole Lotta Red fans were scratching their heads listening to this project. But yeah, man, Che definitely pushed the limits of Rage on this project. With this album basically sounding like one giant mosh pit. Che was like screaming on songs, expanding his vocal range. It definitely brought back the punk, carefree energy to Rage, which I think was Che's goal for this project. Another big Rage album that we would see literally a couple months later is Psychotic. Again, it
My question is why he dropped Love before Rest in Bass. Because Love doesn't sound anything like Rest in Bass.
would be in the name. Right off the bat, bro, from the first song Habits, it was clear on how much Rage has evolved and how much distortion had been
It
more.
gotta grow on you. Yeah, it gotta grow on you. Actually, it didn't have to grow that much on me. Like I got it on first listen. And then it kinda grew on me, pause, and then it kinda I just wasn't fucking with it. Love doesn't sound like any other Chase song. That's what I'm saying. I thought he was going in that direction because I don't pay attention to like snippets or whatever. So I thought he was gonna make an album like that, and I was kind of curious, but he didn't do anything with it.
more prominent as years would go by. This album literally sounded like Final Evolution or something. Like, bro, if you were there at the Psychotic tour, bro, y'all know how insane
Why did you play Habits? Habits is
that shit was. But yeah, man, this was probably the most chaotic
I think Gintama, that's probably the most what's it called? The most evolved song on Psychotic,
Rage album that I've
probably.
ever heard, with each song being so unique. And the engineer on this album was definitely like going crazy, mixing all these distorted beats and vocals. But yeah, man,
I
this is
think
probably my favorite
Gintama
album
and
from Osama,
probably
as his vocals and his flows would complement the beats so
yeah,
well. There were beats
Gintama.
on this album that, you
Everyone
know,
hates Gintama. I like Gintama. I really like Gintama. I feel like Gintama is really unique with what he did vocally.
me like, bro, Osama, how the fuck are you rapping on this? Like, for example, T193.
I gotta hear it again because you gotta listen to like the way his voice is moving around in your ears. Pause.
So yeah, man, Che and Osama definitely did their thing with their albums being the future of the Rage sound, and they both dropped a better Rage
Or no, what's the other one? I'm thinking no, what's the other one? Let me let me no function and Gintama, both of those. Gintama is just I don't know what I like about Gintama.
Rage album than Ken Carson, which is
I actually
crazy.
don't
But yeah,
know.
man, in 2025, we would see Rage in such a different state than it was when it was first introduced in 2020, especially with Whole Lotta Red. Like, bro, when Whole Lotta Red dropped, fans thought it was crazy and unlistenable. But yo,
Say
imagine
that
if
it
you went
was
back in time and
forgettable.
you showed
Yeah.
the average hip hop listener Rest in Bass and Psychotic. Like, bro, imagine 2025 would be a great year for the genre last year, as it would again prove that this sound is only growing with Osama and Shay pushing it. We'd also have other mainstream artists still use it this year, like of course the On Dangerous Summer artists like Lucy Bedrock, again having that electronic influence on his album On Music.
Didn't music drop or
And
on
one thing that
music
I do
drop
love
in
about Rage is how
23?
many different lanes it has, bro. Like, obviously has the EDM electronic shit,
Well,
the
oh,
chaos,
had
the
a
distortion
lot
shit. But
of
at the
his
end of the
biggest songs, but I don't remember much from him this year. Not on Jump Out. Yeah. Yeah, I don't yeah. I took all the Psychotic. Actually, no, there's 3 Psychotic songs. I feel like it didn't age well for me, bro. It did not age well for me. 2023 was Sisterhood. 2024 was Music though, I think, right? Cause Psychotic
it's
just
all
bored me.
Rage. And now currently in 2026, as we are in the first quarter of this year, we are already seeing the evolution of the Rage sound, as of course, as of now, Che and Osama are the new leaders of the sound. We have artists like Too Slimy and Bleod, or Bleod, I don't even know how to freaking pronounce his
But
name, who
I
are pushing
guess
the limits of distortion with their music
niggas
having
said
90%
bleed.
bass. Like, bro, Too Slimy has a genuine fan base, but I can't hate because I'm big on, Osama and Che, and they're already seen as, unlistenable by rap caviar fans, but I
So you
haven't reached
got me.
Too Slimy level yet, bro. But yeah, man.
Wait,
So far, this
when did Lucy get 600,000? Oh, this is what I okay. Um, what is Pretty Fun at? Because Pretty Fun was at like 300,000 last time I checked. He got like 400,000 on dead ass. That's kind of crazy. That's kind of crazy. Yo, hold on. I'm exaggerating. Yeah, but he was way lower than this though. He's already bro. I just checked this shit like 2 days ago. He's already at 550. I don't think it's a hot take. He's gonna hit a mill this year,
this
like
year there is a
easily.
lot of great underground artists who are pushing the sound, like of course
Oh
Lucy, who I
shit, he
did mention,
mentioned
Slayer, who is
Slayer.
my personal favorite. Yeah, man, again in 2026, man, the Rage sound is in the new underground rappers' hands, and I think it's in great hands because there is a lot of good up and coming Rage artists who are
Some
taking the sound
grits.
to new heights day by day. And currently in
I think Slayer goes mainstream before Not Vicious.
2026, this sound isn't dead, bro. Y'all can say what y'all want, bro, but I don't see Rage dying anytime soon because of how much it has
That
evolved,
ass.
like from its early days, from Trippy and Cardi, the pioneers, and a lot of
I bet a lot. He went from 20K to 500K in 3 months. Yeah, I think he's gonna have a yeet blow up, bro. Nine isn't going mainstream. Nine can get 1 million monthly. Like what is Nine at now? He dropped before EM. He's probably at like 800K, 900K. Damn, that's so crazy that these niggas. It's really niggas listening to Nine Vicious, bro.
people have their own opinions on who started Rage
Holy.
and who the pioneers are, man. Comment down below what are y'all thoughts on Rage and the
Wait, what is Che doing? That's less than Che, ain't it? Come on, Che. Damn. He shouldn't go mainstream. But he is though. What is Netspend at? I wonder if he got more than Xavier. Nigga got blue eyes. 700K. It's
overall
crazy.
evolution. Yeah, man, Rage is like my favorite subgenre.
Okay, I think Slayer beats 9 to 2 million.
And seeing it evolve over the years as I've gotten older is truly fascinating, bro. Thank y'all for watching and making it to the end of the video, man. It's video me, I'm Chan, we out.
But yeah, I would have never thought Slayer would pass up Lucy like that and Pretty
In
Fun.